Nano, konnichiwa, greetings, salutations, salve, hola, como estas? How's everyone doing today? Doing so, I guess. Anyhow, I am the brokenly hearted, poetic devil dog. Being the self-proclaimed guru that I am of vast and numerous things, which I won't go too much into, but let's just say that I've had my fair share of Greek tragedies. I have gone through and checklist off a lot of Herculean tasks. I have experienced a lot of things in my life, and that have made me a little bit wiser. Not wiser than the next person, or smarter, or better, just enough to know to share the wisdom, at least. Anyhow, moving on. So in previous videos, I discussed things that grinded my gears. I expressed viewpoints, thoughts, perspectives, opinions about certain topics that were sensitive for everybody to talk about. And I've also ventilated my cage of emotions as well. And today, this video will be not any different than those. Just a little bit different though. So, what am I going to talk about today? Well, glad you asked, or did not ask. So, today, I'm going to be discussing the other elephant in the room. Not alcoholism, not the alcoholic, but depression. The one that no one seems to really want to talk about, or has really too many clueless ideas about, or doesn't quite understand. Not even ourselves. And the next topic will be continuation of the narcissistic toxic relationship, and the liberation will be the last and final part of it, and the discussion upon that. So stay tuned. I hope that you're willing to watch this. This is going to be so fascinating, I hope, and so retrospectively reflective upon myself, as well as maybe helping others who've been in this situation. So stay. So here we are talking about the other elephant in the room. What am I talking about? Not the alcoholic, not alcoholism, not breast cancer, not those things. The other elephant in the room is depression. Now, okay, so we talk about depression like it's some sort of taboo subject. Well, it really is not, actually. To be very frank with you, depression is more common than we think, but we don't want to talk about it because it's such taboo. You know, I mean, depression is the most unpleasant thing I've ever had to experience in my entire life, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been through war, I've been through death, I have buried loved ones, I have dealt with abuse on multiple levels. But depression, I mean, it's the absence of being able to envision you'll ever be cheerful again. The absence of hope, the deadening feeling that, which is so very different from feeling sad and just, you know, think you're going to recover from that. I mean, sad hurts. I mean, it's an unhealthy feeling, but it's there. However, depression, it's different. It's not going to ever go away. I mean, when you're depressed, you don't control your thoughts. I mean, your thoughts control you. I mean, I wish people understood this, but a lot of people actually don't. And that's the sad truth. It's painfully sad, and it's hard. People don't realize that with depression, it's this feeling like you've lost something, but you have no clue what the heck it is. And you don't know where you last had it at, where it was been at. I mean, your happiness, your joy, your motivation, your giddy up, it's just gone. You have no idea where the hell it went to. I mean, no one really knows how to get by because depression is so overwhelming. I mean, and then one day, somewhere in your life, maybe in the here and now, when you're 50-something like me, you realize what you lost is yourself, consumed by depression and swallowed up by the thought of it. It's a rather sad and disturbing thought. Now, in all honesty, getting real here for a second, my life's been falling apart, but together at the same time. I mean, every person that has walked in and out of my life has made a difference, has taught me a lesson. And every person that has walked out of my life, and sooner or later they're replaced by someone better. And every situation that hasn't worked out has led me to a greater one, to a more achievable one. And the situations that were bad that didn't work out, they also taught me lessons. So now, when things go left, I know it's for something that may be coming right eventually. But nevertheless, my depression still hinders a lot of my socializing, my willing to go forth with the day, and seeing the brighter side of tomorrow, or even today, even the next hour or minute. It's just really sad. I've been bent, but yet I have not been broken. I have a lot of scars, but I'm not disfigured. And I mean, I'm sad and I'm, depressed, but I'm not hopeless completely. I mean, I'm tired. I'm always tired, but I'm just not quite lifeless either. I mean, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of a few things, but not the things you think about. Because I'm not powerless over my fears. I've conquered each and every one of them. I've used them for a tool of good and a tool of bad. But I am afraid of something, but that's another topic. I'm angry at myself. I'm angry at the things that I could not accomplish, the things that I missed, the things that I want. And I'm angry because I seem to not do anything but hurt people. But I am not bitter. I am not just completely bitter about it. And yes, and irrefutably and undoubtedly, I am depressed. 24/7, 365 days of the year. But I'm not giving up. I'm not going to stop trying to be happy. I'm not going to stop trying to find the focus. Because that is what depression wants a person to do, wants me to do, wants me to just sit there and just give up and walk away. And let it and succumb unto it. I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. Now, if I've learned anything in this life, and been around for 50 some odd years, it is that the darkest times can bring us or anybody to the brightest places, to the most happiest times. But the same can be said vice versa. Okay? Don't think it can't. I've also learned that the most toxic people can teach us the most valuable of lessons. And our most painful struggles can grant us the most necessary growth. That could be the most heartbreaking losses of friendships and love. Can teach us to make room for new and wonderful people that may or may not show up in our lives or will eventually show up. I've learned what seems like a curse at the moment is actually a blessing in disguise, but the same can be said in opposite. I've learned that a curse is just a curse. It's that sometimes you're meant to live out the curse as a means to defy the adversities and what has been put against you, such as depression. And it's not a curse, I know that. That's not what I'm saying. Just make sure we clarify that. Oh my God. And what seems like the end of the road is actually just the beginning of a new discovery waiting around the bend if we just get off our lazy derrieres and we stop trying to sulk upon the misery of the loss and the brokenness and the complete despair of being hurt and being betrayed and being abandoned and losing all hope and just not having things go our way. If we just stop doing all these things and letting depression win, letting this anxiety or this sadness or this hopelessness win and conquer us, we can find out there's a new journey, new discoveries waiting just around the bend. I believe that's a song. Anyhow, And I've learned, no matter how difficult things may seem, no matter how bad, how bleak, how miserable, how ruinated things may be at the moment, there's always hope for a better day, a better chance, a new situation, a better chance to find happiness and joy eventually. Not today, not tomorrow, not the very second, but eventually. So that's the thing people don't realize, is that today we always assume the worst and we continue to build a negative future of our own, worth. We build our negative future by persisting on the perpetualness of negativity. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna get this job or not. I haven't had the interview yet, but I don't think I'm gonna get the job. So, guess what? Your mindset is how you achieve life. If your mindset is always a negative mindset, you're going to perceive things or presume things to have a negative outcome, or not be accomplished, or you're not going to be able to do this because of whatever you believe the hindrance might be. Well, guess what? That will come to fruition. That outcome will exist, will come to light and be made real. You need to speak the negative and forcefully make a different pathway into that viewpoint. You can go ahead and think, you can say it, but thinking it and then living it is a whole different category. A lot of us have this ability to think the negative shit we think and then just spit it out. And then guess what? A day or the next interview, the job, or whatever accomplishment, or whatever achievement, or whatever goal we've set for ourselves fails. And then we're sitting there, we're sulking, we're mad, we're angry, we're upset with ourselves because we failed to accomplish the goal, we failed to get the job, our relationship was broken because we thought the most worst about the person. We assumed and we presumptuated and we made ourselves look like an ass because we thought prior hand the situation was going to be such a negative, nihilistic, pessimistic outcome. And therefore, we built our future before we even knew it. So if you stop doing this and you take the words you say and you use them as a means to know that that's not what I want, that's not what I or anybody should want, and we decide to change that perspective because we control our fate, we control what comes forth to us. Not every aspect of it, but most of it. And guess what? If shit goes sideways, if things go south and pear-shaped, then you know what? Embrace the suck. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. Because there's always tomorrow. Another day. Don't give up. Don't stop believing. Don't stop loving. Don't seeking out relationships. And don't stop trying to seek out a job. Don't stop pursuing your goals or aspirations. Don't stop trying to be better just because of one single failure, or multiple failures, or numerous, or a myriad, or copious, or infinite amount of failures. It is lessons to be learned from. Your failures are only teachers. And oh my God, are they the most brutal teachers of all. Besides experience. Now, sorry. Now, I've also learned that no matter how powerless we may think or feel we are, or how horrible things seem, we cannot give up. As I just mentioned this before, and I was going on this little tangent. Even though things will get scary, things will be depressive, things will be sad, things will be hopeless, things will be out of our control. We just got to keep doing what we got to do to move on with our lives. And because we have to realize one thing. We have to look back and realize how far we've come. The things we've overcome, the accomplishments we've made, the achievements we've done despite the adversity, despite the brutal and painful trials and tribulations, all the things that have nailed us down and tried to hold us back, the people, the events, the situations, the countless scenarios that have been failed or negative or just not in our favor. We have to be able to understand that we've come so far and that we cannot sit there and give up. We have so much to accomplish in this life. So many things to go forth and do. And if we just realize that we've come so far and that we can go so much further if we just stop sulking in our own little kiddie pool of misery, depression, failure, nihilism, and pessimism, we can definitely swim in oceans with the sharks. At least that's my belief. I mean, that's what I try to do every day. Any reason. So, moving forward. I mean, yeah, that was a little rant there. I'm sorry about that. Not really sorry. I really liked it, by the way. You know, um, but pushing forward. Those are things I've learned in life. But you know, getting back and digressing to the topic of depression, which is all containing this whole topic on this particular one. You know, it makes me sick. The way that depression is so addicting at times. The way I can't stop feeling depressed. The way I can't seem to push it aside and lay it to rest. It's like it has its own space taking up rent in my skull and my heart and my soul. Overwhelming my emotions and my thoughts and, my perspective of life. However, though, depression is so familiar, so comforting, so easy. Easier than happiness. And that's so damn sad. In a sense, it comes more naturally than breathing. I mean, everything else in my life seems damn near difficult. I mean, like the crucible, or like I was basically made to go through every gauntlet over and over again. But however, depression's like that easy chair. That nice, cold, crisp soda. That relaxation of such things. And it should not be like that. I mean, definitely not. That is seriously not healthy. And I know this. I recognize that. But holy shit. I mean, depression, it's just there. I mean, my body aches with self-hatred and depressive, pessimistic, hopeless, despairful, desolate thoughts on a regular basis. It's just like I hurt all over so much, and I can't really feel pain, to be honest, because of a personal reason. But I feel so sore, so tired, so achy because of that depression making me feel that self-hatred overwhelmingly. My mind spins and twists and turns, oscillates, pivots, and just completely goes on a binge on such sorts. With hopelessness and such desolate thoughts, but and sadly, depression has poisoned me and relationships, friendships that I've had or that I'm in. And nevertheless, the depression is, even though I want to acknowledge it, and even though I recognize depression as being an issue, it's still addicting. And it's the most addicting substance that I've known. I mean, I can't speak for all addictions, but I can say in my own personal experience, it is very addicting. And I know depression very intimately. I know the intricate details of its own finer lines as I look in the broken mirror of myself and realize that I have become the embodiment of depression in its own sense, in its own twisted form. And it's so comforting, and yet so unsettling comfortable. This knowing that I am the embodiment of depression, that I have become the worst thing in the world, that I have accepted depression as the A-OK addiction of comfortability. This is not how it's supposed to be. And what's even sadder is that no one knows this about me. No one knows the real side of me, the real part of me that I hide away, that I feel like if I'm going to stay here, it's still going to be emptied and not really, you know, empathetically understood or dismissed or devalued, or people will find it inadmissible. Nobody knows at all how many times I've cried myself to sleep, or I've cried silent tears because I weep because all the pent up emotion that I have, it just comes out. Not like it's that bawling type of sadness. It's that tears that are silent, that have been overwhelming, like a river busting free from a bulging dam. No one knows how many times I've lost hope and given up on this world and on myself, on everything, and wanting to just walk away and just shed my mortal coils. But I know death is not an answer. I know death will not give me a sweet release, even though it is so goddamn tempting at times. But I will not. I will not go quietly into that good night. I will not give up without a good fight. I have so much to offer. And, mission to clarify that. I will not, and I'm not in that mindset either, by the way. Just so that anybody's watching this, don't presumptuate that I am in the category of suicidal thoughts. I am not in that category, and I'm not in that mindset currently or in the nearby future. Just getting that off my chest. And nobody knows how many times that I've snapped, except for those closest to me. And when I've snapped, it's because I have these emotions that are being ignored, or I feel like I've been dehumanized, or pushed aside, ignored, and just invalidated, like I don't exist, or that I have these things. And nobody knows how many times that I've snapped internally, like emotionally, internally, how many times my own self has contained the breaking loose, or this, I don't know, like it's just a buildup, And I don't do it for the sake of others. I don't snap, I don't break, I don't get angry, because I know that if they see the monstrosity that I am, the person that I can be, the person that I hate the most out of everything that I am, I hate the person I truly am inside of me. The person, the monster, the asshole, the real one who is locked up in my own subconscious, that is clawing and dying to get the fuck out of me and show the world the true colors of my hatred and my apathy. Nobody knows the thoughts that go through my head on a constant basis. Nobody quite understands this, and nobody wishes. And by the way, just so I also clarify, I understand that nobody will ever do this. But here's the thing, I'm going to make this very clear. Nobody takes a goddamn time to ever actually adhere or sympathizingly understand in facsimile or proximity of these things. It's a lot different if, I'm not saying that nobody's capable, I'm not saying that nobody wants to. Actually, no, I am actually saying that. Let me rephrase that. It's that nobody wishes to do these things because they're so quick to judge, so quick to put someone down on this. Now, this whole thing I've been talking about, from what I've learned, these thoughts, nobodies, and everything else, let me make something very clear to you. We've all learned something of similarities. We all have a facsimile of something we've learned or experienced, or given us the way how, or the know-how, or the perspectives on life. Undoubtedly, I do not deny or anybody the satisfaction of acknowledgement, of disacknowledgement. I know everybody has this. But I'm prospectively looking at depression overall, and those who are depressed, and overall in life, people have a tendency to judge others too hastily and put their depression, put their experiences in a box. And it's like, oh, how can you say that you're the only one? They didn't say that. They were focusing on themselves. I was focusing on myself. How can I focus on the world when I'm broken? And I've tried fixing the world, and all I get is more broken. So, let me make that very clear. For those who may have perceived or may not have misunderstood this or misconstrued this whole entire thought. Yes, each and every one of us has lived life and had multiple copious amounts and myriad experiences that have been tragic, that have been life-changing, life-altering, that have moved us forward, moved us backwards, that has inspired us, that has made us hopeless and desolate. We've all had these things. And so depression is a big part of that. So I hope that you guys do not mistaken the thought that I am trying to dismiss or devalue the fact that anybody else has had a similar facsimile of lifestyle or experiences. Anyways, but the reality is that nobody takes the time to truly know who I am, how I feel, and what is truly going on in my mind. Nobody that I've ever met. And of those who say they do, I highly doubt it. Because if you did, you would still be in my life. Those who said they knew me. I've had people ask me, "Are you okay?" And it's, that's a very difficult question to answer sometimes. Not always, but for me it is sometimes hard. And you know what? For all those who might ask if I'm okay, let me just put it out there. No. No, I'm not. Not even by a margin. I am constantly, perpetually, 24/7, 365 days a year depressed. I am overwhelmed with guilt, regrets, and sadness that drive me forward as fuel and do not hinder me or anchor me down. I have anxiety. I mean, it's not any fun, I'll tell you that. And my biggest fear is rejection and not being seen for who I'm trying to be. Because everybody seems to like me for, "Ooh, yeah, you're fun, you're exciting, you're intriguing, you're mind-bending. Oh, you're what? You're 54? How'd you live that life? You don't look like you're 54. You seem a little bit, no, you're not right. I mean, rejection. There we go. Stamp it on there. But, and just saying, these are examples of what I'm mentioning. I mean, you may not agree with me, but that's fine. But anyhow, so I want someone to tell me, someone to reassure me. I would like someone, not I want or need. I would like one day for someone to just comfort me, to reassure me, to help me and understand, and be a little bit more sympathetically understanding. So that way I don't feel so not okay. I want someone to listen as I spill my guts out and not hold my past against me. Not pick it apart, not, find fault in it or use it as a weapon against me. But I guess if someone asks next time, am I okay? I'm fine. I'm just tired. Thanks. Appreciate that. That's what I'll tell them. Why? Because it's easier. It's easier than saying I'm depressed. That at 2 a.m. I'm feeling emptier than I've ever felt. That I feel more alone amongst those who I consider closest to me. That I shed tears with no meaning. It's painful when I smile. It hurts to get out of bed. And this is a very cold, hard reality. There have been times where I have prayed when I lay down to sleep that I do not wake. And in the morning light, I would curse the dawn. I would curse the morning light. Yeah. You know, there are times I didn't want to wake up because I was having a much better time asleep, and that's really sad. It's almost like a reverse nightmare that I was having. I mean, like when I wake up from a nightmare, I mean, like if you wake up from one at all and you're like, oh, but in this time, you're so relieved and whatnot. But yet, I seem to never be able to wake up from this nightmare that is called my life, my depressive life, nevertheless. And when I go to sleep, I guess the only comfort I could find is the darkness there. It sounds horrible, right? I mean, like, yeah, what, that's fine. Strangely enough, I mean, depression overall. I mean, we've all dealt with it. We all deal with it. We all have dealt with it, or we know someone that has it, or it's somewhere inside of us. We just haven't awoken it yet, or we haven't recognized or acknowledged it. I mean, however, though, and setting that aside, I mean, a lot of us in life have dealt with something of similarity. I mean, each one of us has survived impossible feats, difficult times, tragic moments, and traumatic moments as well. I mean, we survived a lot of things. And we've overcome it. We have scars. We have bad memories of these things, or good memories, or however we want to look at it. But that's the thing about depression. I mean, depression is so insidious, and it compounds daily. It compounds everything into one single impossibility. I mean, there is no end to it. I mean, there is no actual visual end. There is no way to escape it. There's no way to know if there's a better day, actually. I mean, we cannot really conquer it, because every time we think we've conquered depression, it sneaks up and grabs hold of us and just chokes the living shit out of us, leaving us lifeless, hopeless, and completely battered and beaten, emotionally and metaphorically. I mean, it feels like we're trapped in this fog. This fog like we're in a cage, and there's this fog, and there's no end to it. But in this fog, there's these monsters that hide, and they pop up randomly. And no matter how hard we try to find the exit, or the escape, or how we try to get out, there is no way. I mean, in my opinion, depression is this personal hell within one's own self, like in his own subconscious, with your name on the door and your tormentors, or your thoughts, your memories, and your own self, and your own self, as well as depression. I mean, how horrible is that, right? I mean, how depressing is that? Say very depressing, actually. Now, what do we do to overcome this depression? What do we do to overcome? Nothing, because you can't overcome it. It's not just something you can just pop a couple pills and you're a whole lot better. I mean, yes, for a temporary fix. First thing to do that I must say in my own personalized opinion, I will tell you. Now, in order to make yourself feel a little bit better, to have some sort of normality, not all the way, the first thing you gotta do is acknowledge the fact that you have depression, anxiety, or any mental illness, for that matter. And be not ashamed of it. Be the person you need to be. And secondly, find the triggers. Know your triggers. And once you know your triggers, find coping mechanisms. Things that help you deal with your depression. For example, like myself, I write, I sing, I isolate myself, I listen to music. These are what helps my depression and my anxiety and times of adversity. Now, everybody's different. They have their own methods, their own coping mechanisms and skill sets. So, the next thing is to find a group of individuals that can either relate or that are empathetically understanding of your mental illness or your depression or anything of that nature. Find those who are, and another thing to do, sorry, on top of this, and the last is to sever the ties of those who bring you down, who are a hindrance, who trigger you into this mode of depression. Get rid of them. Toss them aside and move on. And just be understanding that if they cared about you, they would understand. If they don't, then don't try to continue being their friend or being in love with them. Move on with your life. And by doing these things, you might, there's the right word. I'm not going to say you will. There is a probability of 50-50 that you will and might live a little bit more easier. A little less, have a little more lightheartedness. And depression will not consume you. But there's no guarantee. Please understand this. I hope that you do. Alright, I hope you're ready for the next topic, folks, because it's coming up here. And this also should be another doozy. So, enjoy. Hey, so, now we talk about love. That's right. We talk about love, 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 love. And the toxicity of it all, and the narcissistic person as well. So yes, that's right. Holy moly, that is what we're talking about. Oh yeah, it's gonna be something else, man, I bet. Anyways, so here we go. And liberation. Oh, by the way, I also liberated myself as well, so that's also good news. Yes, that is actually really great news. Moving on. Alright. So, what about this whole thing? So, toxic relationships, narcissistic toxic relationships, or whatever sort of relationship that is toxic, it doesn't matter how the ingredients go, it's still toxic. So, I've talked about this before, and the possibilities of it. Now, I want to explain something. I had this discussion with somebody that I knew about how some people will never change their toxicity or their particular behaviors that cause such animosity. I want to express this viewpoint. BS. There will come a day where someone might change it, and I can say this with certainty because I am one of those individuals that was under the impression that I would never change who I was. However, I made great strides to do so. So, there's a possibility for everyone. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe not. I mean, there's a possibility. I mean, yeah. But if not, then I guess she'll eventually learn. Or they'll eventually learn. Now, moving on. So, as I mentioned before, I was in a toxic relationship in the previous video. And as of recently, I began liberating myself bit by bit. And I've been doing this probably since last year, but more so recently than ever. Now, this toxicity that I've been going through was finally awakened to the fact in last October when a conversation was recorded. I listened back on it, and I asked the important question. If you've been, now before I get into this, I want to give you a little info, or at least background about the situation. So together we've been, this individual, BP, and I have been together for 3 years. And quite some time. We've been through a lot of different stuff, a lot of different, personal indifferences and adversities and conflicts in situations. Now, around October is my birthday, and I had asked her a question. This is the question I asked her. Because I was wondering why I should stick around. Why does she want me around? Why does she need me around? Why is this? And I know it seems persistent, but I asked her this because I didn't have a clarified answer. I never really had one. Because she always made me feel like she didn't want me around. She always was so easily able to laundry list all my flaws, imperfections, inadequacies, what made her miserable. She always would use the phrase, "You always make me miserable. You always make me unhappy. You always ruin things." And it's not sometimes or whatever, but digressing back, I asked her, I said, "Can you tell me why you want me to stay here? What's the purpose of me staying here if all I do is hurt you? If supposedly all I do is hurt you, why do you want me to stay here? And her response was, you should already know the answer to that question. I shouldn't have to tell you. I mean, you should already know what the answer is. And it was that moment that I realized that we aren't the same anymore. And so I started letting go. I started detaching myself emotionally while staying put. Now this is a very difficult thing to do, especially when you love the person immensely, and yet it's unrequited on the other side. You have to learn to accept a few cold hard truths and facts, like rejection, playing second fiddle to certain things, job, and maybe even her cell phone, or her friends, or his friends, or whatever, their friends. So this is general neutral, by the way. I want to make that very clear. Didn't want to upset anybody with that statement. Apologies if I did. So, yeah, I know, pretty boring. Any stew. Yeah, my friends here are helping me express emotions. It's rather fun. Any stew. So, getting back to the thought. So, when I began digressing out of this entirety of the relationship, and over time it became more and more evidently clear that I needed to leave. I needed to get done, because between me and somebody that I'm seeing for a therapist. So the therapist I'm seeing, we've agreed that I am better off alone. Not like ever for alone, just trying to work on myself, because I've been working on everybody else but myself. And because I've not focused on myself, I've been causing inner conflict. And that's the worst thing in the world. By the way, when you're trying to wage war or try to help others out, you begin an inner war with yourself, inner conflict that you are waging and losing the battle because you're focusing on everybody else's war. Now, getting back to what I was mentioning. So, letting go is hard. There are a lot of things I had to do that were just difficult. For one, I had to accept the reality that she was not going to see ever what she was doing to me. And it was hard. It was so freaking hard. I mean, it was sad. Really sad. I don't know what that was. My things seem to act up on this thing occasionally, so I apologize. Anyways, so, and it was a really sad thought to know that. But it is what it is. You know, and it was hard. Sorry. 1 second, I'm not ignoring you. Now, what's even sadder is that, you know, I thought it was impossible to, or I didn't believe in the fact that you can love and hate someone at the same time, but she was the one person that has made me believe this, that I can love and hate somebody at the same time. And in a relationship like this, people have to learn to walk away. They have to learn to just get up and leave and not be in their life anymore, because it's much easier. How do you stay with somebody who doesn't understand you, who doesn't pay mind to your emotions, who is so easily to reject everything that they do upon you, who thinks you conjure up imaginations of reality, of situations that occurred that you know did? How do you stay with someone that nitpicks at every little thing you do or do not do correctly and keeps on moving the goalpost? How do you be with someone that dominates over anything and everything they can and disregards your feelings? Most people can't. And if you can, well, bravo. So that's good for you. I'm really happy for you. I mean, that's really awesome. But I cannot. And I need to leave. And it's in progress. It's not immediate. It is a step-by-step immediate thing, and I'm on the pathway to doing so. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink. Life is difficult. This world is difficult, and so can relationships. And the liberation of relationship it's not freeing. It's painful. It's imprisoning. Because you think that being free from the one who hurts you is going to be okay. That you're going to be better. No, you're not actually. You're going to be fucked up. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be sitting there thinking to yourself, holy shit, I regret it, but then I wish I was with her. But then again I realize, oh no, I can't go back because what came out of it? Nothing but pain and misery. And whether this is the case or not, it's not healthy. The relationship that I was in was not healthy. And it's really sad because most people don't get me. You know, it takes a lot for me. You know, it takes a lot for me to come to the point where I want to give up on somebody. And when I do, I become cold as dry ice, and just as lethal in the emotional sense. And that's sad, because I shouldn't be like that to people that I care about, or that I have known, or anything in general. But the liberation of this relationship has come down to the fine points of life. And this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm making my exit stage left. And it is a very painful exit because I don't want to leave her because I still love her. But yet, at the same time, I hate her. Because of personal reasons. I hate her because she will never... It seems like she's never going to become fully aware. And I say fully aware because she has recognized itty bitty recognitions of some things she does and of who I am to her. But it's not enough for me to stick around because I've heard it before. I've heard the empty promises, the recognition, the being self-aware or anything like this because it's been there. But it's just, man, it just, it doesn't matter. Anyways, so I've come to accept these things about her, and I have learned to move on in my life. I'll tell you, it's not easy though. And it won't be easy. Because I still do care about her. I want her to be happy. I want her to be okay. I want her to have some, decency in her life. And I don't want her to feel like she's alone in anything. But I won't stand idly by and just be her security blanket or her emotional punching bag. No. I have to learn to walk away and be stronger, and knowing that, yeah, I loved her, and that we had something. And yes, we were happy together, but happiness goes away. And it's sad. I'll miss her, and I wish that things could have been different. So, as I said, I began the process of officially liberating myself. So here in the next couple of months, you might see the background change if I do another video. And hopefully, I will have a different life. And maybe if I do move and I get out of here and I live by myself, I will do a liberation video. I'm hoping that I can. So stay tuned for the conclusion. So, in conclusion, I hope that this video brought some inspiration or gave some enlightenment or helped anybody out. And if it didn't, oh well. I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to get a little more out there. Not really sure. I'm going to try, but there's no guaranteed. I have a lot of things on my plate. I like to say so long and farewell. Have yourselves a good evening. Stay safe during this time of contagion, this pandemic, I should say correctly. And I hope that everybody has a good evening and does everything they need to do, or day, or whatever it is, because this is Sunday here in the Mormon Potato State. So long and farewell, everybody. Take care of yourselves.